Welcome back. Ezekiel Nya-Etok joins us now. He's the DG, Nigeria First Project. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thanks for having me.
The state of the polity raises huge concerns for everybody. Well, clearly, many will say, look, they always ask questions of leadership. Something, the leadership recruitment process is still very faulty and needs to be addressed headlong. But do you see that even happening? Do they even recognize that as the problem first?
I would say that the moment that people stop to think, they'll find the solution to their problems. Nigeria is one country that people really don't understand. Nigeria is a very peculiar country. Nigeria has the potentials to be a world-class country. Three things. Number one, we have the best of brains in Nigeria. Go outside the world. We have the best of natural resources in Nigeria. Look around. We are shielded from natural disasters. Look around. Now, if this be the case, then what is the problem? The problem is that we that have brains have stopped to think. We have been people with good sight boarding vehicles that are being manned by the partially sighted and sometimes almost completely blind. And we do a lot of analysis. I ask a simple question. What does it take for us to say in the next election we'll have proper elections? Nothing.
They've always said it.
No.
And time and again will tell you what they intend to do. They will color code this, barcode this. But we see the result eventually of every election.
I'll tell you this. I run a company and I keep making losses all the time. I really need to sit down and ask myself what's going on. Meanwhile, the man that is on the seat as my MD keeps telling me things that are not the truth. And I know it's not the truth. I have a choice. Can I fire him? Can I recruit somebody that is competent to do it? The politicians are doing what they should do. It's an enterprise.
Which is just plunder the country?
Yes, that's it. And we are cooperating with them. I've run an election. Chamberlain, if you want to run for the governorship of Edo State, of Imo State, we have extremely intelligent people in Imo State. They're not asking you, Chamberlain, what's your program?
Is it as simple as that?
No,
it's not that simple.
It's as simple. Life comes down to the simplest things.
In our present reality?
In our present reality. The present reality is that the people of Imo State are not stupid people. That's our present reality. Their present reality is that the people of Imo State are not illiterate.
People of Nigeria are not stupid.
I'm being very specific. I want to take, or Akwa Ibom State. They are extremely entitled, enlightened, intelligent people. Question is, why can't they say, Chamberlain, you want to be our governor? What are you putting on the table?
So why can't they say that?
That's the question. We've got to tell ourselves that we are being very
Are you saying they haven't said that?
Let me say this. Chamberlain, I want this program to be as realistic as possible.
Yeah, but we've seen fantastic candidates across the country.
Look at Edo State. Look at Edo State. Just pause for a moment and look at the crowd in Edo State. See very intelligent, articulate classmates of yours. With this COVID-19, jumping around like headless chicken. Classmates of yours, knowing everything, and yet they suspend their thinking, and they are jumping around.
This
and
is
you ask yourself, why would your classmate that a very intelligent person, why would he do that?
Take for instance, Gani Fawehinmi.
Yes.
We all know him.
Yes.
What he stood for.
Yes.
What he represented.
Yes.
He vied for elections alongside several other people.
Yes.
Who did Nigerians vote for?
Thank you. It's the same question. Why have we stopped to interrogate that?
Interrogate what?
Why that happened?
Why do you think it happened?
It is because we have, as I'm talking this morning, somebody is sitting down and asking himself, wow, that's true. Wow, that makes sense. We need to tell the people that we have been like, in our language, there's a saying that there's a frog that makes the rain to beat him. And that is why today, what stops me and you to say, APC, PDP put together, they are less than 30%, less than 35% of the voting population. the other 60 to 65% of the people. What stops us from saying, as from today, I have decided, Ezekiel Anye-Kanabasi Nya-Etok, I'm going to ask questions because I'm an intelligent and enlightened person.
I'm not sure
you've raised these issues.
in terms of why it happened.
Yeah, no. I mean, in terms of the intelligence, intelligence of most people.
Yes.
But we're talking about the electorate here.
Yes.
In the face of the present realities,
Yes.
you talked about that present realities. So let's interrogate the present realities.
Yes.
What are those present realities?
I'll tell
Part
you,
of them
is that there's hunger,
Okay.
there's poverty, but what stops us from interrogating the foundation of the hunger and poverty?
Now, who
So
is
that we
going
don't
to do? Who is going to
the
do that?
intelligent man that is you asking? If a politician comes here and you're asking me the questions,
Okay.
that intelligent you, I've had you ask questions, and I'm like, wow, this is good.
Look, the question
is
just
when,
one moment.
when would you people start to put us on the spot?
Just
instead
one
of
moment.
running the narrative
Just
to
one
say,
moment. Just
look,
one moment.
where do we go from here?
Over
Okay.
the past 20 years,
Yes.
the number of people who vote
Yes.
have been on a gradual decline.
Correct.
Consequently,
Correct.
making increasingly faulty
Yes.
the issue that Chamberlain raised,
Yes.
which is the recruitment
Yes.
pattern.
Yes.
Now, how do we checkmate that issue
Thank you.
in a way that the hungry,
Yes.
the poor,
Yes.
the unemployed
Yes.
will be more futuristic
Yes.
than being present?
Yes.
Because I think that really
I'll
is the
tell
issue.
you this. I contested in 2019, this last election, and it changed my life, my perspectives, and my paradigms. I had no money, relative to others, I was like Boy Scout, okay? And I saw young people leave. There's a particular young boy, I wish I could call his name. He was a leader of the students. And I won't call party, a particular party offered him 5 million because he led the students. And he came to me. I did not give him 100,000. He said, sir, I've made up my mind. Let me go my conscience so that whatever happens, I'll know that I did wrong. He stayed with me from the beginning of the elections to the end of the elections till now. Young people need people to tell them, give them narratives. People are starting to listen. People are starting to get to the end of the matter. People are looking at Edo State. People are projecting the future. And there are two sets of people here. There is the Nya-Etoks above 50. There's the millennials, the younger people. The younger people are starting to say, come, think of it. We are dancing on the grave of our future here.
So, yes, okay. I think you're
Yes.
looking more at the electorate in the urban Nigeria.
No.
Just one moment.
Okay.
You're looking at people
Yes.
like you,
Yes.
who are literate,
Yes.
who can
Yes.
take these perspectives.
Yes.
But there are several others who
Yes.
are so much easier to influence.
Yes, I'm looking
These
at
are most of the people who vote
Yes,
on
I
it.
Which
agree.
are the people that
I'm looking
that vote?
at a mindset.
Just one moment.
Yes.
Now, take the example of Edo
Yes.
and, of course, consequently, Ondo State.
Yes.
Both elections are going to come
Yes.
real
Yes.
soon. I mean,
Yes.
the elections are, less than 2
Yes.
months away.
Yes.
So, what are we looking at
Good.
going forward as far as
Good.
this election is concerned? With all of the
Good.
talk that is going on now
Good.
and all of the conversations that are
Good.
going on, what do
Good.
you see happening? How do we get it right
Good.
with this one
Good.
as a
Two
test
things.
case?
Two things. Don't blame Nigerians for collecting 2 naira to vote. The reason is that a reasonable poor man knows that he won't see this man again. Let him take what he can while he can. I agree. It's a reasonable thing for a reasonable poor man to do. But that same reasonable poor man, if a man like Nya-Etok and the media get together to sell him an alternate perspective, an alternate paradigm, not to make him feel APC PDP. Without APC PDP cannot happen. It is a narrative that the politicians have very wisely packaged and sold to us, and stops us from saying, wait a minute, is there an alternative? That is where you and I come in. the enlightened man. Nigeria runs what you call the concept of elitism. It is what I say that the whole of the poor people in my village go by. But I sit down here and say, oh, you know, the poor people don't understand. The poor people, that is the politician's game plan, which has worked perfectly well. But that poor people, Chamberlain, you know that all the people that you, okay, maybe that you sponsor, do you understand me? You can have influence over them. All the people that are in the villages depend on us in the town to go back and give them direction. So they change the moment we in the villages, the enlightened in the cities, change our mindset. All we need to do is a drive down to our village. Whatever we tell them, that is what has always been. That is why you sit down here, pay the school fees of all these people, and yet one man called politician goes there and controls them. And we allow these people to control the people that we spend our resources on all the time. What stops me from saying the people that I spend my money on, I want to control them? That is one side. There's a second side, which is the quick win, the fastest side, and that is Mr. President. What stops the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria today doing three things? Excuse me, and if this is all I say on this program, I'll be very happy. Three things. Number one, he's a party man. So party loyalty is very important, though he's president. So what does he do? He calls the governor of Edo State, the candidate. He calls the chairman of his party at the national and at the state. He calls these three people to his room or to his meeting and says, guys, I want to have fair, clean, credible elections in Edo State. This is my support for you. This is 1 million. I've also asked Shehu Garuba to get me about 150 people that are my supporters. They have donated 1 million each. This is 151 million. This is my contribution to you. Please go and campaign. We are going to have proper elections. That's an in-house thing. Nobody knows, just the three. That's the first meeting.
Does it have to do that for that to have peaceful elections?
I'm coming. It's important. When you want to achieve something, you do something. I'm talking of do something. That's number one. Number two, he calls the IGP and INEC chairman to a meeting and says, if I don't have credible elections in Edo State, none of you survives a day after. I don't care how you do it. I want free, fair, credible elections in Edo State. That's all I need to say. What do you need? Articulate it, give it to my chief of staff, let it get to me. The meeting does not last more than 3 minutes. I want free, fair, credible elections in Edo State. I don't have that. None of you last for the 1 minute after that. He goes on. Number three, he calls the candidates, even if it is PDP, APC alone. Remember, when you want to kill a fly, and it's really, you don't mind using a sledgehammer, you want a signal in Edo State. Number three, you call the candidates. Either all the candidates or the two main candidates, and tell them, guys, we're going to have free, fair, credible elections. All this nonsense has to stop. Change all this. I don't want all this running around and having the COVID and everything. Have town hall meetings. As from today, that nonsense stops. I beg you.
So if he doesn't do all that?
You are Mr. President. You are Mr. President. Mm-hmm. You are Mr. President. And the security and welfare of this country is put in your hands. So you do your part. This is the part you can do as the number one citizen of this country. If he does that, tomorrow morning, Chamberlain, you see a completely different system.
So I think this issue that you have raised
is a social issue.
Yes.
So what if he doesn't do that?
If he chooses not to do that, posterity will judge him when he leaves office.
No, are you assuming
we continue to have our problems.
So
no problem. Yes.
Are you assuming that that is the only way that these challenges can be addressed?
There are two ways. There are two ways. First is that don't expect the man in the village to just wake up and say all is well. No. You, the enlightened person, get to him. I got to my village. I got to my people. You know, sometimes, let me tell you something. The world is run on what? on idealism. Think
Okay.
about it.
Now-
unless there's a man that is willing to stand up and say, look, I'll tell you this. What I just left my phone for you, okay? Now, what is that phone? One man sat down one day and said, why can't I sit down here and talk to my friend in the next village? They called him Ifot. Ifot means witch. Today, that Ifot held on to that belief, held on to that thought, held on to that. He held on tenaciously. He refused to let go. With time, we now come to have telephones. Because a man dared to dream.
When you
the
talk about
day you fail to dream, you start to die.
When you talk about the elites playing certain role and the people, responding as a result of some of those actions or inactions, as it were.
Yes.
Do we quickly forget recently Sudan?
Yes.
Nobody saw, at least those who are watching from a distance, how that protest was going to happen, but it happened.
Yes.
And then when Nigerians were being attacked in South Africa, we saw the response in Nigeria.
Yes.
Nobody saw that happen. Even the police were unaware because the way they responded, shooting and everything.
Yes.
Aren't we misdiagnosing some of these things, thinking that we'll have it under wraps?
Tell me. Like, you see, the leaders...
In terms of waiting for somebody to come in and control things, there could be things could just happen.
Two things. Number one, you see, I am one for protests. But there are two things. Protest is shopping.
No, it's not just about the protest. I'm talking about people who we think can't take certain action unless they wait for a leader to come in. We may have missed the point.
My concern is spontaneous reactions, which is protests, can go the wrong way and make things worse.
And it can go the right way.
Yes, it can go the right way. Why can't I control my system? I control my environment. Why can't you and I today start to have an enlightened narrative as to how things can be done?
I don't know how.
Maybe if channels can, you do a lot of awesome things. This is one station. My family knows channels. I don't joke with it. On one other station, I don't have to say it here. Okay. But the thing is, can we just have a program of what you call solution providers? We are such amazing problem analysts.
Which is what all programs here are designed to address. But there's an issue that you haven't factored in all of this.
Please tell me.
Each election in each state is local.
Yes.
The issues in Edo State are peculiar to Edo State.
Correct.
The issues in Ondo
the hunger
State,
and the poverty is general.
Well, I'm talking about the main issues now that are, seem to be conflagrating things. The issues in Ondo State seem to be definitely are peculiar to Ondo State. There is a common denominator.
Yes.
The locals.
Yes.
All politics is local.
Yes.
We don't seem to have factored all of that into this conversation so far.
We have. As local as all politics is, there is a general factor. You can't dismiss the fact that in Nigeria we run the concept of elitism. The masses listen to us. That's why Buhari can sit down and tell you that I have 10 million voters in my pocket. And he actually produces it. He doesn't just say it. Okay? So what happens? We are followers.
So essentially you're saying that the elitism isn't
the
working for us.
The elites are the people that have failed this country. We are the problem.
So that is not working for us.
That's where we need to start to rejig. That's why when Patrick Otomi, Professor Pat Otomi, decided to get a few people together, I ran. I didn't wait to be called. I ran to join him and say, sir, this thing we are trying to do, let people talk down on it. Let people say what they want to say. I, as a reasonable man, I've listened to it.
Okay.
I've heard you talk about leadership recruitment that must be done properly. I am joining you.
The strategy with which Nigeria has decided to recruit leaders is politics, is democracy.
Yes.
And I also heard the Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, former Speaker, Naba, say yesterday, placing a blame on the political class.
Yes.
Solutions now. How do we begin to speak the language to the political class in a way that it will dive down to the people?
Number one is that the political class are two. They are the entrepreneurs, political entrepreneurs. What they want is different from what we want. Incidentally, we want them to give us what we want, which is far from what they want. It's like expecting a dog to meow or a cat to bark. The political entrepreneurs have their game and they will play their game till no end. There is also the others who think nationalistic. They are patriots in politics. So what we're trying to do is bring that class of people, of patriots together and say, we want to run a great country and the leadership recruitment must be proper. So how do we do it? The people must own the process, must bring the people together. How do we do it? So there is a conversation. That's why, like yesterday, I'll let the cat out of the bag. I was in Uyo yesterday. When I heard of the launching, the press conference of National Consultative Front, and I read what they wanted to do, I boarded the next flight. I came here, and from here I'm going right back to you. The time has come. We have done, there's a time for the listening.
All right.
Do you understand me?
Let's wind down with this.
Yes, let me just say this. Right. There is the hear something stage. Mm-hmm. There is the see something stage. There is a say something stage. We've gone through that. Amazing. We are now at the stage of do something stage. So I have decided to do something and join these people.
Why do you think that the political class will change anything?
They will never change.
If they don't see anything wrong with it, if it's benefiting them.
They will never change. That is why we've agreed. But there are times we can't afford. I don't sit down and see you come and rape my mother and I keep quiet. This country is mine. This country is mine. It's not theirs only. It's mine. So I'm coming in to say enough of the nonsense. Look at NDDC, for instance. Does it take rocket science for you to see? Let me be very specific. That there's a lady like Ifweko Moigwe. Everybody knows her. She was an FRRS. What stops you? And I use her as a metaphor for the Ifwekos. Mr. President wants to fix NDDC. What do you do first? The question is, what is his criteria for choosing the 1, 2, 3, 4 people that he wants to put there? Without judging them, was he looking for the very best people, or was he saying, Amechi, give me name, Akpabio, give me name, Omogege, give me name? So the mentality is, do we want to fix this country? You fix it when you get the right people doing the right job.
Were you satisfied with the response of the people of the region for which NDDC was set up for?
No. Far from satisfied. I'm one of those that say, Mr. President, whatever it takes, let that audit go on. Whatever it takes. We have been raped for too long. NDDC never belonged to Niger Delta. NDDC has always been a property of Abuja. Within Abuja are 2 places, the presidency and the National Assembly. So they have been the owners of NDDC. So it's just domiciled in NDDC.
The people are not asking enough questions.
No, we're not. We've been too docile.
So perhaps that's why
we're very happy and say, Mr. President, please ask the president on our behalf. And we will be so happy to crown you as a son, special son of Niger Delta. Ask questions.
Aren't you concerned that all the people that have led the NDDC are Niger Deltans themselves?
Yeah, my brother, I have sat in the offices. I am extremely close to NDDC. I've sat in their offices and seen the pressure that these people from National Assembly and Presidency put on these people. And it's not so easy for you to say, I walk away. I have seen it.
All right.
So they have been like boys sent to go and do something for them. Okay, now we want people that will take ownership and do what is right in NDDC.
We do thank you very much. Ezekiel Nya-Etok is the Director General, Nigeria First Project. Well.